Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And it is time for my 60th Grammy Awards picks and predictions video. I'm going to go over most of the major fields that I am most curious about in this installment of the Grammy Awards and give you who I think will most likely walk away with the trophy and who I would like to walk away with the trophy. The Grammy field this year is looking pretty solid. It's looking pretty good. Like, the picks are better than usual. I will say that much. I'm pretty happy about that. I feel like I'm not going to maybe be as disappointed this year as I was at the previous Grammy Awards. However, let's remember here, the Grammys ultimately are not important when it comes to artistic integrity, artistic ability, and the longevity of a particular artist's career. In fact, there have been countless Grammy Awards given out over the years to artists who are utterly irrelevant right now, whose music and albums we barely remember. And that is because the Grammys routinely, and still to this day, it has not changed, are just an industry jack-off. They are just a popularity contest. However, let's get wrapped up in the fun and pretend like it matters for a little bit and just go through these picks. So in the general field, we have Record of the Year right here. We have Childish Gambino's Redbone, Despacito from Luis Fonsi, of course, Jay-Z's The Story of O.J., Humble from Kendrick Lamar, and Bruno Mars' 24 Karat Magic. I honestly would not be unhappy with any of these songs walking away with this award. Even Despacito, which I know a lot of people out there may be a little negative toward. I get it. You may be annoyed with the song. It's a little overplayed, but I think it's actually a pretty landmark moment for Latin music. But honestly, the song that resonated with me the most, the song that I thought had the most significant things to say, had to be The Story of O.J. I think I would be most happy seeing that song walk away with the award. However, I love Humble. I think 24 Karat Magic is one of Bruno Mars's best songs. And of course, Redbone is one of the most fantastic tracks and memes of the year. So literally would not be unhappy with anybody walking away with this. However, I would probably give it to Childish, Luis, or I would say Kendrick. It's got to be one of those. I could even see Bruno getting it because he would be a super safe, super popular pick that everybody kind of likes. And that's another thing about Grammy picks. They're typically very safe. Next, the Album of the Year field, we have the new Childish Gambino, Awaken My Love, Jay-Z's 444, Kendrick Lamar's Damn, Melodrama Lord, Bruno Mars' 24 Karat Magic. Personally, I would love to see either Jay-Z or Kendrick walk away with this. Wouldn't even mind seeing Childish walk away with it. I liked the Lord album too. I liked the Bruno Mars album as well, though I wouldn't say that they were as good in comparison. I certainly would love to see it go to Kendrick. I would love to see it go to Jay-Z because they did both come out with really fantastic records. And maybe if Childish gets it, he'll actually be incentivized to make some sort of return to music and continue down the very funky road that he kind of embarked on with Awaken My Love. And while I do pick Kendrick and I do pick Jay-Z here, I wouldn't be surprised to see it lean a little bit more toward Lord or Bruno or even Childish. Now with the Song of the Year field, of course, once again, we have Despacito, we have 444, we have Issues, Benny Blanco, we have the Suicide Hotline song from Logic, and we have, of course, Bruno Mars's That's What I Like. Personally, I would have to go with 444. Though, again, Jay-Z, I think he's the older pick. I think he's the least trendy of the bunch, and as a result, I think he is less likely to win an award. However, he is kind of a legend in his own right, and you may have more people voting for him just based on that. So I'm not entirely sure as of this point, but because Jay-Z's new album, because his career isn't exactly at the highest point that it has been in the past, I'm going to say that it's likely to probably go to something more hype. Despacito, probably the Logic track, maybe even That's What I Like. I would actually maybe even predict here that it would be Despacito. Now with the Best New Artist category, which is always weird because sometimes the artists that land in the Best New Artist category have actually been around a while, which is certainly the case for who would be my pick here. I would say I would love to see SZA walk away, just to see her walk away with an award, though I know she's been nominated for numerous awards. It would just be awesome to see her just walking down with numerous Grammys in her arms, because she did come out with a really good album. However, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up going to Lil Uzi Vert, because he's just a little more hype right now. Khaled and Alicia Cara would also be super, super, super safe picks that I also would not be surprised by. Now, as far as Best Pop Solo Performance, I would have to say I would love to see Lady Gaga walk away with this one, because out of all of these tracks, I think Million Reasons is the most solid song. If not the Lady Gaga track, then Kesha with Praying. That's probably the most passionate and anthemic ballad of the whole bunch. I really cannot stand any of the other tracks from the other artists on here, the Kelly Clarkson track, the Pink track, the Ed Sheeran track. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ed Sheeran walk away with it, just because of how huge of a single Shape of You has been. But still, I'm kind of pulling for Gaga on this one. For the Best Pop Duo Group Performance, I have to say I'm not really pulling for anybody in this category. I mean, maybe Portugal the Man, though I was not big on their new record at all. I'm just gonna ignore this category. Number 8, the Best Pop Vocal Album for albums containing at least 51% playing time of new vocal pop recordings. It's like a really odd requirement. And I love that the first Best Pop Vocal Album in this list is an EP from Coldplay. Obviously not pulling for that one. Lana Del Rey's Lust for Life, the new Imagine Dragons, the new Kesha, the new Lady Gaga, Ed Sheeran as well. I would not be surprised to see this go to Coldplay or Ed Sheeran here. Personally, just like one of the previous categories, I'm pulling for Kesha and Lady Gaga. I think they had the better records over here, though I wouldn't be surprised to see Imagine Dragons walk away with it either. Though I guess they're not as popular as they used to be, so probably not. And honestly, as much as I was a little disappointed with the new Lana Del Rey record, like it wasn't quite the mature album that I've been looking for her to make, it would be nice to see her walk away with something. I feel like she's been making so many waves for such a long time, and she's had such a large impact on the pop music landscape, like it or not, that it would be nice to kind of finally see that acknowledged. For the dance and electronic music section, we have Best Dance Recording. In this field, I have to say that I am going to be pulling for the new Gorillaz track with Dram. Definitely one of the better tracks on the band's new album, though I did find the record bland overall. The rest of the field, Bonobo, sure. But obviously not that into the new LCD sound system. Odessa's new project was completely underwhelming to me. I'm pulling for Gorillaz. It's most likely going to be Gorillaz, given the stature, given the high-profile nature of the project. However, wouldn't be surprised to see LCD sound system walk away with it. I'm surprised we don't see any more hype tracks on here, but I would like Gorillaz, and I'm kind of predicting Gorillaz. And Best Dance and Electronic Album, gotta give a shout out to Kraftwerk there. I haven't even heard this. I would just love to see Kraftwerk have a friggin' Grammy. That would just be great. Come on, electronic music. You owe them one. Getting into the rock section over here, Best Rock Performance, we have Leonard Cohen's You Want It Darker, Chris Cornell, The Promise, Foo Fighters' Run, Kalo No Good, Nothing More Go to War. Personally, would love to see Leonard Cohen walk away with it, but I'm thinking it'll probably be either him or Chris Cornell. It's probably going to be one of those picks where it's a posthumous Grammy. You're going to have lots of votes and lots of people pushing for it to go in that direction because they miss those artists and they're feeling for those artists. Even though a lot of people seem to dig on the new Foo Fighters record, I'm thinking that's where most of the sentiments for this award are going to lie. It's just kind of a matter of who is it going to go to? Is it going to be Cohen or Cornell? And because Cornell passed away the most recently, and because rock fans, I think, just have more of a soft spot for Cornell than they do Cohen, who I think is just more of a singer-songwriter figure, not typically thought of at the top of your head when you think rock music. I think it'll most likely go to Cornell. For Best Metal Performance, it's really kind of no contest. I'm pulling for Code Orange here. Their record was fantastic. It's amazing to see them counted in this category, and I'm really happy about it. Though it would be amazing to see Body Count walk away with a Grammy, though I'm not predicting that that will be the case. However, I think Mastodon will probably walk away with it, since they seem to be the most popular of all the bands, and despite the fact that I dislike their newest record, it was kind of well received amongst some fans, so... For Best Rock Song of the Year, we have Atlas Rise, of course, from Metallica, Blood in the Cut, K-Flay, Go to War, from Nothing More, Run, Foo Fighters, The Stage, Avenged Sevenfold. Personally, I'm pulling for Metallica. It's most likely going to be Metallica. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see Foo Fighters walk away with it. I wouldn't be even surprised to see Avenged Sevenfold walk away with it, as overblown and as awful as The Stage was. Typically, you know, the most overwrought rock songs win in this category, and hoping for something just a little bit more raw, you know, like that Atlas Rise song. And Best Rock Album, though I have heard all of these records, I feel so not that invested in this category because I know better rock records have come out recently. But, you know, of course we have the new Mastodon record, new Metallica record, new Nothing More, new Queens of the Stone Age, new War on Drugs. Personally, pulling for Queens of the Stone Age, it would be interesting to see them walk away with a Grammy, and I do think that that was probably the better record out of all of the ones listed here. It's most likely going to be Mastodon or Metallica. Probably Metallica. And alternative music album is also kind of no question for me. I am pulling hardcore for the new freaking pure comedy record from Father John Misty. I love that album so much. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see it go to Father John Misty. Josh Tillman has been making a lot of waves this year. He's been turning a lot of heads. A lot of people in a lot of high places seem to be really enamored with his music, and he seems kind of like an artist's artist. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up winning people over. I would love to see him walk away with it. I think he could walk away with it. I think he has the potential to walk away with it. The National, I think, are also a band that has a very similar appeal to a very similar crowd that Josh does. They could be serious competition. Arcade Fire is kind of a predictable and an easy pick, as well as Gorillaz, because both of those artists are very popular. However, you know, in the alternative category, it can be kind of a toss-up. LCD Sound System, as much as I like them, and I guess they do appeal to a crowd similar to that of Father John Misty and The National. I just feel like they're kind of on the downturn right now, as are Gorillaz and Arcade Fire, which is kind of what is creating the X factor here for Father John Misty and The National. Just kind of crossing my fingers for Josh. Josh. To my knowledge, Josh is also nominated in the packaging category, which the packaging for Pure Comedy is amazing, and I hope he wins on that as well. It's really good packaging. In the R&B category, we have some interesting picks. We have Kalani's Distraction, we have Daniel Caesar on Get You, we have Ledisi on High, Bruno Mars, SZA The Weeknd. Personally, pulling for SZA on this one. Do love that Bruno Mars song quite a bit, but I do think that track is one of my favorites off that new SZA record. However, wouldn't be surprised to see Daniel Caesar walk away with it. He's been having a really good year, as well as Kalani, but I kind of predict Bruno Mars here. Would love to see SZA, but predicting Bruno Mars. I think Bruno Mars, he's been having a great year, and I think he's going to walk away with a lot of awards. And the best traditional R&B performance, we have the Baylor Project, Laugh and Move On, Childish Gambino, Redbone, who makes it into this category obviously based off of the fact that his sound, his style on his new record is a bit of a throwback. Anthony Hamilton and the Hamiltones, Ledisi, and Mali Music with Still. I'm going to go with Childish Gambino. That's who I want to see take it, and that's most likely who was going to take it, in my opinion. If not him, Anthony Hamilton. For Best R&B Song, I would also be pulling for Donald Glover, would also predict Donald Glover. I do like that SZA track, Supermodel, though I don't think it's one of her strongest. And for the Best Urban Contemporary Album, I'm going to be pulling for SZA, Control. And I'm going to predict SZA, Control as well. Or maybe even The Weeknd, actually. maybe The Weeknd. I think The Weeknd might get it. Still, though, pulling for SZA, I do think Control is the strongest out of this crop of records. But The Weeknd's been having a pretty good year. He hasn't been nominated in too many categories on this thing, and I think this may be his one opportunity to sort of nab an award. I think Starboy, for the most part, left a pretty positive impression on a lot of people. So, and in the Best R&B Album category, I like the Bruno Mars record. It's probably going to be the Bruno Mars record, but I would actually love to see Daniel Caesar walk away with it for Freudian. It is a really solid album. I would love to see Daniel grow and continue from here, and I think it would really kind of get things off to a great start for him to just get a Grammy this early in his career. Now, of course, in the rap field, we have Best Rap Performance. Big Sean, Bounce Back. I actually like that track quite a bit. One of his best. Cardi B, Bodak Yellow. Jay-Z, 444. Humble, Kendrick Lamar. Bad and Bougie, Migos, and Lil Uzi Vert. This is a tough one. I'm going to knock out Jay-Z because, again, he's a legacy pick, and I don't think he's going to get as many awards as he has nominations. In this year's Grammys. As much as I do love 444, and I think it's one of his better projects. Moving on from there, though, I think it's going to be one of these more hype tracks, and there are some really hype ones on here. I think we kind of maybe knock the Big Sean track back. It's most likely not going to overshadow the other cuts here. It really could go to Cardi B, because that really is, like, in a lot of ways, the song of the year. You can't really deny it. And it's such a landmark, record-breaking song in a lot of ways. Would love to see Kendrick walk away with it, of course. I think that is the best song here out of the probable picks, but would not be surprised to see Cardi B take it. In fact, it would be kind of cool to see Cardi B take it. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Migos take it away either, because Bad and Bougie, that has also kind of been one of the most landmark rap songs of the year. For the Best Rap and Sung Performance, I would have to say I'm also kind of pulling TDE on this one. Loyalty with Rihanna would not be disappointing, though I don't think Kendrick is as interesting on that song as he is on other tracks. I do like the Rihanna feature, though. I do love Love Galore with SZA and Travis Scott, though. Would love to see either of those artists walk away with it. I like Family Feud, though I don't think it's the best song in the field over here. I do not enjoy that Gold Link song at all, and I kind of think Black is an industry plant, honestly. I'm going to predict it's going to be Kendrick or SZA on this one. For the Best Rap Song, we have Cardi B with Bodak Yellow. We have Danger Mouse and Run the Jewels and Big Boy with Chase Me. Surprisingly enough, Run the Jewels landed in here. Kendrick Lamar, Humble. Sassy with Rhapsody, which is actually pretty fantastic. The Story of OJ with Jay-Z. There's so many personal favorites in here in this Best Rap Song category. Would love to see Danger Mouse and Run the Jewels walking away with a freaking Grammy. Would love to see Rhapsody walk away with a Grammy, because I think her record has been one of the more underappreciated rap albums of the year. Like, people who are in the know love that record and appreciate that record, and she has had a lot of praise. It has had a lot of reviews. It's not an obscure album, but I feel like there are a lot of people sleeping on the record a little bit, not celebrating it quite as much as they possibly could. Or I feel like the celebration, the praise, it's a little phoned in. You know what I mean? It's a little phoned in. People are kind of praising it, I feel like, because maybe they feel like they should, not because they're actually appreciating what she's saying and what she's trying to do on the album. That's just my personal opinion, though. Would love to see her walk away with a Grammy, though. However, I'm just going to say that it's most likely going to be one of the more hype tracks on here. Probably Bodak. Probably Humble. And for the Best Rap Album of the year, we have Jay-Z with 444, Kendrick with Damn, Culture, Migos, Rhapsody, Lila's Wisdom, Flower Boy, Tyler, the Creator. I'm actually pulling for Rhapsody and Tyler on this one. I think they came out with more solid records. I think they came out with the best records in this whole bunch. I'm just pulling for them. However, I think Kendrick's going to walk away with it. I think now that Kendrick has just become such an accepted force in the music industry, and he's become so beloved across cultural and genre boundaries, that he's most likely going to be walking away with a ton of freaking awards this Grammy session. If he walks away with Album of the Year, he's probably going to walk away with the Rap Album of the Year too. Maybe that might change, maybe, but most likely not. But still, though, pulling for Rhapsody, pulling for Tyler. Wait, there's a best album notes category? Like, how do you determine that? How do you determine who has the best notes? And one more section that I want to shout out is the production non-classical section, where we actually have a nod to No Shape from Perfume Genius. That album, as I noted in my review, is one of the most excellently and gorgeously produced and engineered albums of the year. That album sounds wonderful. That album sounds lavish and orgasmic. Actually, that new Roger Waters album is pretty impeccably produced as well, but even more so the Perfume Genius. I am pulling for Mike all the way in that category, and I think it may go to Roger. I think it may go to Bruno, but I am pulling so hard for Mike. And that is going to be it, guys. Those are essentially my picks and predictions for the Grammys this year. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Let me know who you're crossing your fingers for at this year's Grammys. Who do you think is going to walk down the carpet holding a bunch of Grammys like babies? And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Over here next to my head is my video for the previous Grammys, the 59th annual Grammys. And that'll be it. See you in the next one. Transition. Have you given the Grammys a listen? Did you love them? Did you hate them? What would you rate them? But, well, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't even know why I'm here. Forever.